entrepreneurship was not as glamorized as it is today. It was more viewed as something that was risky. It was viewed as something that was kind of like secondary, not something that was applauded or celebrated or.
So I want to go back to the beginning. Pull back up that Shark Tank clip. So this was you, and you said, I think this was 2009.
Yes.
So you're 5 years in business. How does this whole thing get set up? Did they call you? Do you put in an application?
We saw an ad in Entrepreneur Magazine. It said, looking for business owners to pitch a business idea for a pilot TV show. That's kind of all we saw. And so at the time, we were starting to franchise. I think we had 3 or 4 locations. And we said, oh, this could be an opportunity to perhaps get some investment, but also get our exposure out there. And we were like, well, what should we pitch? Should we pitch College Hunks? And we had a joking business, or business we had joked about, called College Foxes Packing Boxes. That would be the sister business. So that's actually what we went on Shark Tank to pitch, but we used College Hunks as an example of something that we would sort of co-market with this other new concept. The sharks were not idiots. They smelled blood in the water, so they made an offer. Robert made an offer for College Hunks, but he wanted equity in this whole College Foxes concept, which was more just a TV idea, not really something we would ultimately pursue. But yeah, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, he beat us up a bunch too.
Trying to pause it, David, or turn down the volume. You can play it and turn down the volume. But so who was on at that time? Kevin O'Leary.
It was Damon John, Kevin O'Leary. There's my business partner, Omar. There's me, round face, no face.
You were so young, dude. This is crazy.
Again,
you were like 22 or something like that.
I think 23, 24 maybe. And so, yeah, it was Damon John, Kevin O'Leary, Barbara Corcoran, Robert Herjavec. And then the first shark here is actually Kevin Harrington. He's a Tampa guy or St. Pete guy. He was on episode 1 or season 1 and 2. And then I think they replaced him with Mark Cuban.
Okay.
But yeah, so really the same sharks minus Kevin Harrington.
And then here's like the example of the shitty mover you have who's like banging your furniture around.
That's right.
So, dude, what was that like, right? I mean, you guys were so young. You had been in this business for a few years. I'm assuming, like, at that time, how many trucks did you have? You said you started out with 1. This is 5 years later.
So in Tampa, we probably, or in D.C., I should say, because we just moved to Tampa. In D.C., we probably had, let's call it 10 trucks, and we had probably 3 or 4 franchises that we had already sold. So we knew we were onto something, that the market was responding. It was something that was working. But when we went to do Shark Tank, you got to remember, because it was episode 1, these guys weren't television celebrities yet. Like, we had never seen them before in our lives. Like, if you go on the show now,
right,
Kevin O'Leary is going to be, throwing shade at you, kind of what to expect from each one. And so we went in sort of blindly. To us, these were just these, business owners for a pilot episode. But yeah, we had, a few locations, probably 10 trucks in DC, call it, 2 or 3 in Tampa. And we just
kind of
winged it. Yeah,
damn,
it was really our first taste of mainstream media to kind of get exposure for our business and our brand. And
did it help with that?
I think so. Probably not as much as if we'd gone on now with a larger following, but it reruns on CNBC every once in a while.
This episode,
people watch it on streaming, if they're trying to catch up on, old episodes or, original episodes of Shark Tank.
This was really a defining moment for reality TV. It became, and still is, super popular, man. I bet at the time, like you said, you're like, this might not even make it.
Yeah, it's crazy that the show's been on for 15 plus years. And I think before a show like this existed, entrepreneurship was not as glamorized as it is today. It didn't have, the social media champions of entrepreneurship and, charting your own path or charting your own destiny, or it was more viewed as something that was risky. It was viewed as something that was kind of like secondary, not something that was applauded or celebrated or taught. And I think the show did a good job. Kids would watch the show. My kids watch the show now, where they can kind of understand business dynamics in a very simplified form.
Yeah, and I think at the time, and you're a little older than me, you probably speak to this better, but like, I think entrepreneurs were thought of as almost like hustlers at the time, like in the early 2000s and even before that. And now on social media, it's like there's this grind culture, and I get up at 3:30, and that's kind of a funny example, right? But there really is this like deep entrepreneurial thing on social media, and the amount of people like Robert and like Damon and these guys and Kevin O'Leary, like they have become superstars in the business world because of this entrepreneurial stuff. Like so many people appreciate this type of media.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of amazing to see, really.
Yeah.
In the last 15 years, it's like totally been amplified.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Because again, like I said before, I was brought up to follow the traditional career path. You work hard in school, you get good grades, you get into college, you get a degree, you get a job. This notion of entrepreneurship, at least for me, wasn't something that I was exposed to. I didn't know what the word meant until we started our business, and somebody's like, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur." So I think now the notion of starting a business is much more mainstream. It doesn't make it easier to do. It doesn't make it, more likelihood of success. So that's, I guess sort of the flip side is, you still got to recognize that the odds are not for you when you're starting into something for yourself, but the rewards can be very meaningful.
It's almost like the word entrepreneur has gone through its own cycle. Like it started off like hustler, or what does this mean? Then it was like very viable and everyone started calling themselves that. And now it's almost like sort of a dirty word. Like, oh, he's an entrepreneur.
Right.
He rents a Lambo and has a place at the Heron and Water Street. You know what I mean? It's like, but I think to your point, it's nothing about business has necessarily changed, right? The relationships and the systems you build and all that has been the case in this country for a hell of a lot longer than reality TV existed.
That's right. That's right. I mean, having something of value, whether it's a product or service, having a brand that stands out that people can recognize and identify with, getting good people to come in and execute on the vision of what it is you're providing or deliver on the solutions that you're, claiming to offer. All of that stuff I think is universal as far as commerce or business is concerned.
Hey guys, if you want to watch the full episode of this clip, click right here. Make sure to subscribe by clicking right here. Thank you for watching.